Good morning and welcome to Peace Out. Live, it's live. I am so glad you are here where we are all learning together to peace out, right? It is such a process. I still am looking for that button though, that just, there, I got peace now. I don't have to worry about it. But stuff keeps happening every single day. Stuff on top of stuff, and then other stuff, and then other stuff sneaks in, and then there's more stuff, and then tomorrow there's even going to be more. And so I keep coming back to letting his peace reign. I'm actually really almost learning to roll all those cares and concerns as they come, to roll them over into prayer and giving them to him, asking him for wisdom. I don't know what to do with this situation, God. So give me your wisdom to know how to handle this. Help me make the decisions that are scripturally sound, and will keep that peace, right? And that I pray the Holy Spirit. I believe that's in Philippians, maybe Colossians, though, where it says he can act. The Amplified says he acts as umpire in our hearts, telling us what's fair and what's foul. I need that in my life. You may not need that. You may have this real good instinctual stuff, but I need to know if this direction is wrong, this direction is better. Maybe it's not even wrong. Maybe this one's just better. I want to know the better one. I want to follow those little bitty quiet whispers of God that God puts in our heart. Sometimes it goes, I'm not going that way. I'm going to go this way. And it doesn't even make sense, but I'm going this way. Right? That's right. That's how we keep that peace. And it's how we continue to let his peace reign. It's just, my Uncle Calvin always said, follow peace. Always follow where that peace is. If you do something that disrupts that peace, stop and go back because you went the wrong way, right? Make sure to sign up for Making the Leader. It starts a week from tonight. I'm really excited about this 6-week live class. There will be no recordings. You have to be live in the class for 6 weeks unless you make special arrangements with me. But anyway, we're going to look at leaders. And even if you don't think that you're a leader, first off, you are to some degree, no matter what kind of job you do, work you do, right? But we can learn so much by looking at the lives of leaders like Gideon and Moses and Samuel and Nehemiah, right? We can learn so much by looking at the characteristics they had, and their passion for God is the main thing. These guys had a passion for God, or maybe in sometimes they didn't have a passion for God, and that's what cost them, and that's what led them astray. But I'll leave that for the class. But join us. You'll get the ebook for free. It's $25 for the 6 weeks class. You get the book for free, and you'll be in we have a special set aside private group on Facebook too that will participate in and have some questions, maybe some games and some polls and some silly stuff, maybe, and some fun stuff. But it's going to be fun. It's not going to be like other classes where you just sit and take notes. I want you to participate. I know I am the question queen because I taught math, middle school math, for 7.5, 8 years, something like that. That was a long time. That was in my other life, BC, before the crash, right? And so it will be fun. It will be engaging, and you will learn something about yourself, about God, and about leadership. Even if you don't think you're a leader, you will learn so much, and we'll have so much fun just going through these scriptures together. Today, I am in Luke 19. Now, we've been talking about people this week that are just pure out seekers, right? We talked about the blind man, that when they told them to be quiet, they got louder because they needed Jesus to see them, even though they could not see. They said, we need our sight. Son of David, have mercy on us. Look at us. Help us, right? We talked about the woman who pressed through tradition, laws, culture at the day, and did something just unthinkable in their culture and reached out and touched Jesus. How dare her touch him? But she got healed, right? And I don't remember what the other one was, but we've talked about 3 already. And today we're going to look about somebody else who just went a little beyond, above and beyond, just to see Jesus. This is all this little man. You should know who I'm talking about now. This little man. Remember, Zacchaeus was a wee little man. A wee little man was he. Climbed up in. Remember that song from Bible, probably we sang it in children's church and in Vacation Bible School, right? And Zacchaeus, it says Jesus came to Jericho in Luke 19, and it says that Zacchaeus was a chief tax collector. So he was like the head of the IRS, despised. Let's just leave it that way, right? And he was also rich. And so this set him apart from others in a negative connotation. they considered him to be a chief sinner. Now, I do not know if he was, but most people who collected taxes were deceitful, and they were, technically, we could just probably just call them thieves, because what most tax collectors did during that day is, if you owed $20, they charged you 25. Then they paid your 20 to the authorities and kept 5. They literally stole from people to make their living. And that's why he's rich, because of that, typically, right? And so, but Zacchaeus had this desire. I want this desire, by the way. He had this desire to see Jesus. And he was a little guy, and he probably wasn't real well received in the crowd, right? They would have pushed him out or not liked him, and he was a little bitty. He says he was rather short, and he says he couldn't see him because of the crowd, because he was short dude, right? And so he ran ahead. That's above and beyond. He didn't try to work through the crowd. He ran ahead and climbed up into a sycamore tree, which, by the way, sycamore trees are very easy to climb. And I know this because I used to climb trees a lot, but I'm not climbing them today, right? But he ran ahead. He went out of his way. He put in extra effort to run ahead and climb up in the tree. He just wanted to see this Jesus everyone was talking about. He didn't even know that he was getting in line for a personal encounter with the Messiah himself. He just needed to see him. And sometimes our seeking God doesn't make sense in our head. We just need to see him. We just need to know he's there. We just need a touch from him. We just need him to know that he hears our prayer, that he's there, that he's present. And sometimes, so he went the extra mile, and he ran way out ahead and climbed up in a tree so that he could just lay his eyes on Jesus. And what happened? It says when Jesus came to that place, because Zacchaeus had run way ahead, when Jesus got to that place, he looked up and saw him. Man, that's got to make your heart melt. You know, have you ever been close to a star? I haven't really. But if you've been close to a star, I used to love it when I would go to the Henson's concerts, and they would turn and, you know, they'd talk to you and go, oh, wow. You know, Nicole C. Mullen, I've talked to her personally a time or two, and she sees you, but she stands and talks to you. She gives you her attention, and it just does something. It's like, wow, I'm noticed. I'm alive. And it says, Jesus looked at Zacchaeus, and he said, you need to come down, because I'm going to come to your house today. And it said Zacchaeus came down as quickly as he could, and he received Christ joyfully. He received Jesus joyfully. He was excited to meet Jesus. He was excited to see Jesus. He was excited to invite him into his house. But when they saw it, when the crowd saw it, they all complained. Didn't this start in like Exodus somewhere? Maybe even in Genesis, right? Complaining has been a part of the journey all the way through this Bible, right? Maybe that's why Paul said, do not complain about anything. And that's hard to do. Try it for a day. Try it for an hour. Try it for 2 hours, right? It said they all complained, like, he's going to eat with a sinner. And Jesus basically replied and said, I, the Son of Man, I have come to seek and save that which was lost. And so he says, Jesus always had an answer for the crowd's questions and pressings and complaints and murmurings and groanings and why did he do that? Why did he heal on the Sabbath? Why did he do this? Can you heal? There's 6 other days. Couldn't you have healed any other day? Does that even make sense? Sometimes our groanings, our complainings, and our arguments don't even make sense. But Jesus looks past them and he brings that solution. I am here to save those who are lost. Zacchaeus was lost. Jesus said, and Jesus went the extra mile to meet with Zacchaeus, to go to his house. God forbid, chief sinner here, right? And he probably was. But here's what happened. Zacchaeus changed. It says Jesus said, Zacchaeus stood and said to the Lord, look, Lord, I give half of my goods to the poor. And if I have taken anything from anyone by false accusation, I will restore fourfold. That's how you know a life has been touched. A heart has been touched and a life has been changed. When they start saying, oh, I've taken from people. Let me give back. Let me make restitution where I've been wrong. Let me change what I've been doing wrong and do this thing right. Because that encounter with Jesus makes you do that. It's when you have a personal encounter with him, and then that just elicits change in your life that you weren't even maybe expecting. Maybe you weren't even trying. You just, all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to be with him. And it all stemmed from Zacchaeus just longing to see Jesus. He had that intense desire. I've got to see him. I'm going to climb, I'm going to run ahead, way ahead, and get up in the tree. All I want to do is see him as he passes by. Who is this person they're all talking about? Who is this person doing all these miracles that we're hearing about? Who is this person that's teaching just teachings with authority? Who is this man? I need to see this man. But the cool thing was when Zacchaeus saw Jesus, Jesus stopped and saw Zacchaeus. And he will stop today. When we seek him, he will be found by us. That's out of our favorite scripture, Jeremiah, right? He will be found, Jeremiah 11. He will be found by us and he will see us back. And that's the most amazing place to be. When you reach for God, you look for God and realize that he's looking right back at you and wants to spend time with you. He said, I want to go to your house. You know what? He wants to come to your house today. He wants to live in your house. He doesn't want to just come for supper. He wants to live in your house and abide in your house and be comfortable, be accepted, I should say, in your house. So will you go ahead and jump up in a tree and look for Jesus today? Because he's going to say, I'm coming to your house. When you look for him, you will find him and he will let you find him and he will come stay with you. That's why I can peace out, knowing that he's here in my mess. If you only could see the rest of my house. But you can't. I'm cleaning it today. Anyway, have a great day. We're going to peace out because God is with us. And then we'll be back here tomorrow to talk about the same thing.